Hello and welcome to Class 3 of Women in the Classics. Today we are going to talk about Medea. Medea is the princess of Colchis, the daughter of Aeetes, a god with magical powers, and the granddaughter of Helios, the old sun god. Medea, although mortal, also has magical powers and is one of the most intriguing female figures in classical literature. She is anything but dull. Medea appears in many famous classical texts, including Histories by Herodotus, Theogony by Hesiod, and Metamorphoses by Ovid. But the two sources we will focus on today are the Argonautica by Apollonius Rhodius and the play Medea by Euripides. One of the most defining features of Medea's story is her relationship with Jason, who is probably most well known for stealing the Golden Fleece, with Medea's help. Jason visited Colchis in order to steal the Golden Fleece. When Medea saw Jason for the first time, she was immediately love-struck and head over heels. Some even say that Aphrodite, goddess of love, forced Medea to fall for Jason. Either way, she was besotted and wanted to help Jason, but helping him would mean stealing from her father. Medea was so conflicted she was on the brink of suicide, but eventually promised to help Jason after he promised to marry her. Medea made Jason a potion called the Charm of Prometheus, which would make him invulnerable and help him with any conflict that came his way. Medea also used her powers to distract the dragon guarding the fleece, which allowed Jason to steal it. Afterwards, Jason and Medea were married in a sacred cave on the island of Colchis. But unfortunately, this is where the happy love story will end for Medea. Medea was sent a dream from Hera telling her that her father Aeetes was aware of her involvement in the stealing of the fleece. Medea hurried to the Argonaut, Jason's ship, and together with Jason and his crew of warriors, she fled Colchis. In some versions, a furious Aeetes pursued the Argonaut. To slow him down, Jason and Medea killed her brother, Apsyrtus, who had come with them, and threw the pieces of him into the sea so that Aeetes had to go around collecting them. Because of this heinous act, Zeus cursed the voyage of the ship. In their fugitive state, Jason and Medea decide to visit Medea's aunt, Circe, on Aiaia, to request that Circe absolve them of the crime of murdering Apsyrtus and help them in their escape. Circe performs the purification ritual, and Jason and Medea go on their way. Jason and Medea now decide to head to Corinth. Here they live happily for a while, and they start a family. But their happiness does not last long. Although married to Medea, Jason falls in love with Glorke, princess of Corinth. He believes that if he marries her, he will become king of Corinth. This angers Medea, obviously. King Creon, the father of Glorke, throws the angry and jealous Medea and her and Jason's two children into exile, so she can't do anything tragic. Jason had a plan for Medea, which was supposed to end with her and their children getting royal protection when he married Glorke. However, since Medea had now been exiled, in Jason's eyes, she had ruined the whole well-thought-out plan. Still, Jason promises that when he is king, he will make Medea his mistress and still love her, even if he's married to Glorke. The crafty Medea pretends to be assuaged by this and begs for her children not to be exiled. Jason agrees. But Medea has a plan. She poisons a beautiful robe that will kill anyone who wears it, or whoever they touch. She sends her children to give this robe to Glorke as a gift, who puts it on, and depending on who you ask, either bursts into flames or dies quickly and horribly from the poison. Her father, the king, trying to save her, also dies. Medea's plan also involves the killing of her 2 children, which she knows will cause Jason great pain. She does this once they have delivered the poison robe. Remember that Medea is the daughter of Aeetes, Circe's brother, and therefore the granddaughter of Helios, the sun god. Helios sends Medea his chariot, and she appears over the palace in it with her 2 dead children. Some sources say that this chariot was pulled by dragons. Either way, Medea escapes her crime scene and lives out the rest of her life away from Jason. It's interesting to note that Medea found a way to maintain the favor of the gods throughout the rest of her life, despite crimes that would land most other people in hot water. One way of seeing this is that Medea was primarily a victim herself. Despite the fact that Jason would not be where he was without Medea and her powers, he was being unfaithful and was about to abandon her, leaving her with nothing. It's also interesting to note that Medea doesn't kill Jason. Arguably, what she does is worse. She takes everything from him: his chance to succeed to the throne of Corinth, his heirs and bloodline, and his faithful sorceress wife, Medea herself. What she did was horrific, but apparently not unforgivable. While we remember Medea in her golden chariot of tragedy and her unimaginable acts, Jason faded into obscurity, never became a king, never achieved anything like what he had done with Medea, and eventually was crushed by his own rotting ship. However dark, we can see Medea's story as one of the only examples in classical literature of a woman's rage being not only understood, but respected and even facilitated. And that is worth remembering. Thank you for watching this lesson. Join us next time to learn more about one of history's most misrepresented victims, Medusa.